evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Buchanan City Commission. It's Monday, December 11th, at 7 p.m. If you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Dennison.
Here.
Whedon.
Here.
Bianski.
Yes.
Money.
Present.
Swam.
Here.
Uniform.
Thank you. Something we can make a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Whedon.
Yes.
Bianski.
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Carries.
You got another copy of that?
Thank you.
This one? Yeah.
There should have been one.
Is it in that other stuff? It's right down here. She's got one. It was there. It's somewhere in the stack. Thank you.
Okay, time for public comment. If you'd like to make a public comment on an agenda item, please make your way to the podium, state your name for the minutes.
New business, Norma Ferris. Dial-a-ride agreement. What's going on?
It'll be
Now, you better tell me something more than this. We'll
We
have
get-
to spend some more of your money.
good.
We'll
Stick-
discuss it when we
stick
get to it.
around.
We'll discuss it when we get to it.
Okay.
Thank you, Norma. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment on an agenda item? Going once, going twice. Okay. Let's move down to the consent agenda. Someone like to make a motion?
This is money. I'd move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Bianski.
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Whedon.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving down to reports by departments, committees, and boards, starting with the Community Development Report by Director Rich Murphy and Assistant Director, Main Street Manager Ashley Riegel.
Thank you, Mayor. Rich Murphy, Community Development Director. Just a few items for you this evening. First item is renewal for Cana Vista Wellness. They have submitted their applications for their annual renewal. I find the applications to be in good order. They have submitted their fee, and we have conducted the background checks per the ordinance, per the Buchanan Police Department to their satisfaction. Alyssa from Cana Vista is here tonight if you have any questions, but my recommendation is to move forward with approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
I have one. We have an issue with that mural. Did that come up in this licensing at all? Was that made appropriate, or was that made apparent that we're having an issue with the mural with the owner of that building?
Is that a question to me?
Yes, it is.
I believe it's common knowledge, yes, that there's an issue.
No, that's not what I asked you,
with the
Rich.
mural, And yes, it has been brought up with the owner of the building. The owner of the building is different from the management of Cana Vista, you might understand. But yes, to answer your question, the answer is yes.
My point being is, do they understand how much of an issue this could probably or may become for their dispensary? That it might become an issue for their dispensary at that location?
Is that a question to me?
I'm looking right at you.
Okay. I don't know because they're not here to answer that question, and I can't answer that question.
So who's representing Cana Vista?
Alyssa from Canavista.
So that has to be the
Who is not
marijuana.
the owner of the building, nor any way involved in the mural project.
So is she here? Can you raise your hand? Was you aware of all that?
I am vaguely aware that it is an issue. I'm not involved in it at all.
Well, with being a tenant, you might want to check into it, okay? You might be able to help the city a little bit with this, okay? I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
The only thing else I noticed was you guys are dropping the medical license and only pursuing retail going forward.
You know, that is correct, as it's a trend in the industry. I have talked to Michael Beck of Canavista, and we are sitting down this week or next week to discuss a possible community benefit agreement that could replace the funds that we are not receiving due to the license not being renewed. So I can report more on that. Could be an opportunity for Buchanan to have those discussions with all the operators that are not renewing their medical. So
Okay.
more to report on that.
I would like to have a little more explicitity on that. If you're talking about it, what are you talking about? It sounds like a tax to me, you know?
It was brought up by the owner himself that he wants to sit down and talk about a community benefit agreement. That's all that's happened,
The owner of the building or the owner of the license?
the owner of the license.
Well, I'd like to be part of that discussion, okay? Very much, very, very much so. Because we haven't reached out to you guys like we should, because there's so much detriment about the marijuana industry as a whole, and I don't want it going to economic development at all. I want it to go explicitly in the directions given to the commissioners for the decisions, if that makes sense. You know, the playgrounds, the parks, you know, I want to put it into something, because it's not going to be enough to help the infrastructure, but I really want to be a part of that. And these four guys are not going to allow me to, but you're going to find out that I'm very noisy, and I'm not going away. So, please, you can get my number after the meeting. Thank you.
Somebody would like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the adult use retail license 2023 renewal for Canavista Wellness as presented.
Thank you. Is there support?
This is money I'll support.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to take a minute to acknowledge a big Buchanan success story, and that is the great work that's going on the North Side neighborhood. For those of you who are involved in the project, several people are here this evening. You know who you are, and your efforts are noted. Recently, we got a gust of wind in our sails as it pertains to the North Side project. When we were notified by the Shallon Foundation, Sue Shallon and Scott Shallon of the Shallon Foundation for their contribution of $25,000 towards improvements in the Victory Park neighborhood. I just want to read an excerpt from the letter. On behalf of the Shallon Foundation, we are pleased to present the enclosed $25,000 grant in support of your Victory Park project in Buchanan's North Side neighborhood. We appreciate the hard work that resulted in this exciting vision for Buchanan, which was the catalyst for your park plans. Buchanan has a wonderful history, and this re-energized vision is not only exciting for residents, but for those of us ourselves who have such good memories of visiting the community for family events. Now, the man who was instrumental in bringing this funding to Buchanan's North Side is here this evening. And I'm going to invite Mr. James Busby to come up and say a few words, but I just want to acknowledge his leadership and the leadership of the North Side neighbors, including, and I probably miss people, but John Brown, Jeannie Harris, Frida, Rita, and all the North Side neighbors who have stepped up to make the North Side a better place. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rich. First of all, I want to thank Mark Whedon, Patrick Swim, Sean Dennison, Larry Money. You guys have been supportive of this project since we wanted to get it started. A lot of you don't know, I started meeting with Bill Marks years ago trying to get the Victory Park project started, which fell on deaf ears. Thank this man here because Rich and I have had a lot of one-on-one meetings, and he was all for getting this project started. Myself, Mr. Brown, Ms. Barbara Cowles, Jeannie Harris, all the meetings that we've had behind closed doors. It's very dear to me because that was my grandmother's property, and it's been in our family. It was gifted to my grandmother way, way back, so it's been in our family since 1930. So that's why it's been very dear to me. Despite some of the negativity that some people have put on Facebook, we've had more positive comments. Despite what they say, we want that park to be the best for everybody. We don't care what race, because we don't discriminate on the north end. We want everybody, white, black, biracial, Mexican, Hispanic, to enjoy that park. And that's what we're aiming for. We want to have a ribbon ceremony, and all those who want to come, we want you there to enjoy that park with us. And that's our goal. This man has worked tirelessly hard. We've had, like I said, had a lot of meetings on things behind closed doors to improve the park. I've worked with the Shallon Foundation for 20 years. And if things work out, I will be the lead force behind more money coming in the future for us for Victory Park improvements. Thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a comment. I'm all for the pavilion. And James, thank you very much for the $25,000. But what about the $170,000 that the taxpayers paid for? Where did you find some money, Rich? Did you find any money at all for that project? And behind closed doors, you didn't participate with Barb whatsoever on that property, and you paid full price for that property, and there was no open discussions, you just did it. But this is not against the pavilion at all. They don't accept the fact that I was working on doing something up there when I was commissioner before, because I don't get along with Mr. Busby, but that's okay.
Commissioner Piansky,
No,
when you say that he just did something without permission, that's not true. This
He
this
didn't participate in Barb, and
But any property that was bought was done through the commission. It didn't have anything to do with.
it still had to go
Rich
through the
Murphy.
Barb, and it didn't, because
Yes, it did.
Barb was dysfunctional. It was dysfunctional. And all the lies that I just read, don't tell me I'm a liar, because I know how it worked.
All right, point of order.
Okay, then I'll go back to the
Point of
original
order. Can
question.
we please
I'll go back to the
proceed?
original question.
Okay.
How much did you raise for that pavilion, Rich? How much money did you go out and find for that pavilion?
All the money that we're pulling in right now, including this, James has been the lead. It's been a team effort. We'll continue.
That's not what I
continue
asked you.
to
You
go back.
always do that. Ask her the question, please.
I'll answer the question. That money was specifically set aside by this commission, not you when you weren't, because you were here, directly from cannabis excise tax money. Not a penny of it came from property taxes. We directly funded that through cannabis excise tax. That's where all of that money came from. And there's still more in that fund.
And I know you're the banker, so I know you know something about numbers. And we could have probably leveraged about $500,000 or more with that $170,000 we spent on that pavilion. So you can sit there and say the money
I
was
think-
allocated, but that's where all the marijuana money went. And that's just how it works down here all the time.
A portion of the marijuana money was used for that. They have active grant applications that they've presented to, while you've been on this commission, for the next phase of that park for playground equipment, which shows our active participation and our active investment in the project. So it is being leveraged for more money.
That's not what you're doing, and everybody knows that.
That's
But
not-
that was my point.
I would disagree.
You didn't
That's-
raise any money, did you?
I think
you raised
this is
zero
just
money, didn't you?
becoming an attack
Point of
on-
order, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor,
yeah.
Mr. Swem is
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this is just becoming an attack on another employee, so I think we should move on, please.
agreed. Number 4?
I think
Oh, I'm sorry,
I'm
number
on
3.
3. It's all right.
Sorry,
Just
three.
a formality. As you authorized, I did close on behalf of the city on the property 123 Days Avenue. It was an exciting event with Lisa Gustafson, her daughter, and to receive the property, and we made a little bit of money, the city putting that lot on the tax rolls, and we activated a visionary entrepreneur who's going to bring the next phase of her business expansion to that property. So I think very good Buchanan story, and I just wanted to report back to you that closing is finalized.
That's great. And we sold that at the full appraised value, which is, hopefully we see some good things.
Last item was Ashley's.
Good evening. I just have a quick announcement that the Hometown & Co. Mercantile and Food Market is celebrating its grand opening and ribbon cutting on the 14th. That's this Wednesday. Very exciting to have 4 new businesses in Buchanan, and we're excited about this program and how we can hopefully support local businesses to grow. It's at the former Hometown Video Store, 101 Days Avenue, and we'd love if you could attend and come see what we're trying to accomplish in this community for small business. Thank you.
What time is that, Ashley?
Sorry, thank you. It's from 4 to 6. The ribbon cutting will be just after 4. After that, we have actually a Santa coming from 5 to 6 for some photos. We'll have drinks, some food. It's going to be kind of a Christmas party for a few hours. So we'd love you to come out and meet all of our new businesses, hopefully support them and get some Christmas gifts and enjoy yourself. All right, thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving down to new business.
Did I miss something on Closing Days Avenue?
No, he'd already mentioned it.
That's the sale of
The
the
sale of
property.
the
Sale of
property.
the property. Okay.
Moving down to item A, city manager contract. Consider approving the city manager contract with Timothy Lynch.
So I'll explain this more thoroughly in discussion, but I want to make this motion a very specific way. So I move to approve the city manager contract with Timothy Lynch and authorize the mayor to negotiate non-compensation related items and sign in order to get him in this position and in the office as soon as possible.
When have we had a
Is it-
meeting to discuss this as commissioners?
That's what we're gonna do
We're
right
gonna-
now. If we get a second,
we get
so
a
we're gonna
support?
all
And
talk
this is
about it
money,
now.
I'll support that motion.
Thanks.
All right.
You have a question?
Now we're in discussion.
I'll lead up to how we got this. So after recent events, I reached back out to Timothy Lynch, who served as our interim manager, to see if he'd be willing to come back and keep the ship moving forward for us while we looked for another city manager, obviously. So through those discussions with him, he was quick to respond to us that he would be willing to come back to the city of Buchanan, and he would do so at a minimum of a 1-year term for us, which was very gracious of him, so he could be here more than just to fill in and make an impact for at least a year. So there isn't a timetable that ends in this contract. We're going to treat it as if he's a city manager going forward. And in addition to that, I reached out to our search firm, Walsh Consulting, because in our previous agreement, we had a clause if we did not fulfill a full year with our existing city manager, their services would be free to us on the next go-round. They've graciously agreed if Tim does not decide to stay after the 1-year mark, that they will give us they will honor that free arrangement for us for the next search as well. So that's kind of how this all came to be, and Tim was well respected by the staff and by this commission. We all begged him to come and stick around longer. So I'm hopeful that we'll be in agreement after we talk through the contract tonight. That's all I have to say.
When was the meeting to give you the power to reach out to Tim Lynch for a contract or to reach out about a contract? When did we as a commission have that meeting? Who gave you that stroke?
Yeah. So I reached out to see if there was an interest in coming back at all, so we could have a conversation.
We already
about
got a contract. I've got a contract right here. Who gave you the power to do that?
Much
Okay,
like,
well, then I'll
much
just-
like you
let's
think
just
you
say
have the
this. You
power
wanna-
to do
you-
whatever
Okay,
you want.
I
one
do.
at a time, one at a time.
It's my turn.
Go ahead.
I've already filed a complaint for open meetings violations against all of you,
Okay.
including her, including the lawyer.
Okay.
and we'll see where that goes.
Sure.
The detective has not contacted me yet,
That's fine.
but I have very good, strong charges.
Mhm.
The charges for recall against him are very strong.
Okay.
The charges against me are bogus, just like the hearing was tonight.
What does that have to do with the contract?
Very
But
bogus.
we'll stay on that.
But
Let's talk about. what we're
I'm
talking
making
about.
the point.
All right.
You guys have not followed any procedure whatsoever for hiring a new city manager. Zero. And you can't sit there and say you have.
I reached out on my own accord by myself.
I got an email from Sean, so you can sit there and lie if you want to. You know, you're on record.
That's fine. When the terms were presented to me, I forwarded it to Sean so he could have it prepared for the agenda.
That's
No,
all right.
Don't
I'm
believe
just
it.
on the record.
That's
No,
fine.
that's fine. He
That's
met
actual.
with Tim Lynch. Tim Lynch actually.
What
pretty
day did
much
you meet with Tim Lynch?
Monday.
Wrote up a.
This past
contract.
Monday?
Yes. Sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but
you're
yeah.
A week ago Monday.
Yeah. Well, it's
Get the
not
date
today.
right. What date? What's the
Monday.
date? Monday what?
Monday. Last Monday.
What's the date?
Oh, my God.
Look at a calendar.
You got a
Look at the
calendar in
calendar
your phone?
yourself.
What's the date?
Look at it yourself. You have a phone in front of you.
I believe it was the 4th.
All right. Anyways, I've already outlined that. We're having discussion about the contract. You could say no.
Yeah, I mean,
What,
Well, I
what
fully intend
content?
on saying no based on how it's been handled and how it's been dealt with.
How else would we
How-
bring it to
how-
your
Even though I
attention?
love Tim Lynch.
Okay, how else would you like me to bring it to your attention outside of having it in a public meeting?
We should have, you reached out to Tim Lynch before Ben was even gone.
I
This
didn't.
was,
No, we did
this,
not.
No, I did not. That is
you said the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben resigned prior to
December
that.
4th.
December 4th. Ben
Yeah.
resigned prior to that, if you remember. The last
You
meeting
just
of
continue to
November.
have your votes,
It- it-
folks.
okay.
It'll come out with the county.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have support. We have roll call, please?
Bianski,
No, based on, you know,
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Moving down to the Dial-A-Ride DART agreement. Consider approving the Dial-A-Ride DART intergovernmental agreement for transit service. I was gonna try and find that. I'm just gonna read this letter real quick from Rick Huff from the City of Niles. Dear Mayor Dennison, it's been a privilege to provide public transportation services to the citizens of Buchanan. The feedback from public transportation users has been very positive, and we've been able to increase transportation options for your residents. We are currently investing in new software that will help us better identify ridership by jurisdiction, but I can tell you that DART ridership trips increased 14,200 since adding service for Buchanan. Berrien Bus's software also isn't very effective at breaking down ridership by jurisdiction, but it appears Buchanan trips were close to 5,200 on an annual basis when this organization provided public transportation service. The City of Niles is hopeful we can renew the public transportation agreement, which is due to expire December 31st. This arrangement greatly benefits the residents of both communities. Please let me know if you require any information. The terms really haven't changed much, and you got the information today, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I asked for copies of their financial statements just so we could make them available to the community. It's my understanding this was a voted on millage, so we don't really have a choice to cancel it. It was put in place by the people. My only thing on this is I encourage users to get your user up, because then we're paying $90,000 a year based on what was voted in for 5,200 rides. We need to take full advantage of that. Our price doesn't change the more rides we use, so encourage people to use the service. It's great for our seniors. It's great. We don't have a public transportation option in this community, and that's why citizens voted it in. So this is just a ratification of that agreement annually to make sure we pay for it. So.
I am on the board of Niles Dial-A-Ride. Anything that I can take to them for the city of Buchanan, I will.
Thank you, Norma. Someone like to make a motion?
This is money. I'd move to approve the Dial-A-Ride DART intergovernmental agreement for transit service as presented.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item C, amendment number 4 to the owner-engineer agreement. Consider approving amendment number 4. The purpose of this amendment is to finalize the easement acquisition costs that were estimated in amendment number 2 of the owner-engineering agreement. The amendment is also to request approval for the Prine and Newhoff 2024 hourly rates. Excuse me.
So I will move to postpone this until it has the opportunity to be reviewed by a city manager. Based on what has historically happened with PNN and our rate structure, I think that should be reviewed by the next leader of the community.
Is there anybody here with
new-
PNN?
The new rates, you mean?
Yep. We had,
Well-
we got money back from them based on charges from the past, and I'd like to see the city manager review that contract and rate adjustments, so, since they'll be the ones monitoring our charges going forward.
I very much agree with you on that, because I am not content with the fact that they bid and then they come in and they raise their rates, and they've been doing nothing but raising their rates. And who was the engineer that went in there and told us to tear down the old building? Was it Pre and Newhoff?
No.
I think that was, if I recall, I remember reading that, I think it
There was
was
a
a
different
privately,
structural engineer,
yeah,
yeah.
privately contracted
wasn't Prine and
engineer by
Well, they're
Heather.
finding more iron out there, you know, I mean, it's a mess. So yes, if you want to make the motion, I'll second it.
Yeah, did you get the motion?
Mm-hmm. I got
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Dan.
I'll second it.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yep.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Carries.
Thank you. Moving down to communications, city commission meeting. Please note that the next regular city commission meeting will be held on Tuesday, December 26th due to the holiday. However, I think normally when the city meeting is right around Christmas, we normally cancel it, and I believe that might be the thought of this commission. Someone would like to make a motion to skip the meeting on the 26th, and the next meeting would be January 8th.
So I'll motion to cancel regular city commission meeting Tuesday, December 26th due to holiday, and authorize the city manager and or mayor to approve the bill run needed.
I'll support.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Dennison.
Yeah.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
No.
Money,
Yes.
Swam.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, moving down to public comment on non-agenda items only. If you'd like to make a public comment, please make your way to the podium. State your name for the minutes.
Good evening, Monroe LeMay, 118 Shermer Parkway. With a new city manager coming in, is there any chance that the commission, I'm not sure if it's your job to make that decision, but I'm bringing it to you, but is there a chance that we can open up City Hall like we used to have it before COVID? It's so much more personal to have a lobby for seniors to sit down. And I just think that it will help repair some of the, I would have to say, what would I call it? We just don't trust City Hall anymore, so it'd be really nice to be able to come in and repair that with our staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
I just wanted to add one quick thing. I think there's some misunderstanding about the money for Victory Park. The money that I got for us had nothing to do with the pavilion. Okay, so going forward, I don't want anybody trying to insult Rich saying he didn't write any grants, because that had nothing to do. Any money that I get moving forward has nothing to do with taxpayers. This is on me for Victory Park. And I forgot to mention one person. I wanted to thank Mike Baker, because his crew has done a good job of keeping the grass cut at Victory Park, keeping it looking good. So thank you, Mike.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Jerry Flinner, 16485 Rynearson. I'm the chairperson for the McCoy Creek Trail Group, and I keep coming up here and about every meeting and telling you about something. But it was brought to my attention again that when I stand up here and praise Mike Baker for the job they do, people could get the wrong idea that the city workers are working on my project, which makes them work not on their project. Every time they work for us, Mike keeps a tab and charges the McCoy Creek Trail Maintenance Fund. So again, no money from the city. It's all comes out of the McCoy Creek Trail Fund. So FYI, I want to make that clear.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Jeannie Harris, 320 Bluff Street. I would just like to say thank you to Rich for your due diligence in getting the pavilion built. Every step of the way, you kept the north side neighbors informed regarding the funding and the building process and the bids. And so I just want to thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment? Okay, seeing none, let's move down to commissioner comments. Commissioner Whedon?
I'm good.
Mr. Swett?
Yeah, a couple things here. So to start, I guess I'll start with a statement that I made an OMA violation related to that contract. I just want to attest that that's completely false. Because I had the past relationship with Tim, I took it upon myself to reach out to him for the benefit of this community. Upon receiving what he would ask for to come back, I forwarded that on to the city attorney and to the mayor. There was no negotiation. He has not even seen our proposed contract yet because it would not be ethical for me to give that to him in advance. And he will be seeing that upon the completion of this meeting, so it can now be negotiated. So I just want to make that very clear. That's the process. Major thank you to the Shallon Foundation and Mr. James Busby. Thank you for all that work. Can't say that enough. And then I did prepare a statement tonight as we move into the holiday season. So I was watching a movie with my children last night called Genie, new movie. Comment was made in that movie, what more could a man ever wish for? And that's an interesting phrase, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure there's an endless amount of answers to that question. We would all wish for something different. Well, this year, what I wish for is grace. In times of turmoil, we find ourselves tested both individually and as a community. Today, I stand before you not as a speaker speaking to provide answers, but as a fellow member of this resilient community asking for a moment of grace. We're bound by shared experiences, and in moments of hardship, it's crucial that we extend compassion, understanding, and patience to one another. Turmoil may shake the foundations of our unity, but it is in these moments that strength in our community truly shines. Let us recognize that each person faces their own struggles, and as we navigate this difficult period, empathy becomes our guiding light. Grace, in its essence, is an acknowledgement that we are imperfect beings grappling with challenges that may be invisible to others. And as we seek solutions and work towards rebuilding, let us not forget the power of forgiveness and healing it brings. Grace is not a sign of weakness, but is a testament to our collective strength, and it allows us to move forward together to mend the tears in the fabric of our community and build bridges of understanding. In the face of adversity, let us resist temptation to assign blame hastily and instead embrace the spirit of cooperation. By offering each other grace to learn from our mistakes, we pave a way for growth and resilience. So in conclusion, I ask you to join me in fostering an environment where grace is not only sought, but freely given. And let us be a community that rises above adversity, united in our commitment to support one another through these challenging times. And together, with grace as our compass, we will emerge stronger, more compassionate, bound by an unbreakable tie that defines our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Urbanski?
Your Honor, the trash cans have been removed from downtown. I would ask that they be put back because we still got the people in the city. And as long as I'm asking, I want the sidewalks plowed, all of them, not just the ones that they want to. And I do have a question about a bonus. Is there anybody acting as city manager until the 2nd of January? I guess, can bonuses be given without a city manager? Or who's sitting in the city manager's place? I have not had any communication with these commissioners whatsoever until I walked in here tonight. So that's why I asked these questions publicly. It's humiliating for them because I have the guts to ask them publicly. So I'm asking. I don't want the bonus paid because Ben was not gonna give that bonus, and I think you all know what bonus I'm talking about. I want the sidewalk, the $10,000 bonus to Rich. The sidewalk in front of Sweets Restaurant, I want it cleaned off, whether they have to use shovels or brooms, and I want the trash cans put back out. And that's all I'm asking. And as far as the bonus to Rich, whoever comes in can make that decision after they come in. But Ben was not gonna give it to him. And, you know, as far as the pavilion, it looks great. I drove by it a dozen times. And Mr. Busby, with all of our differences, I do appreciate you raising money. And that's not my argument with you at all, ever. Rich has not raised 1 red cent. No matter, that was still $170,000 of taxpayer money. It could have went to other things. And we could have raised maybe as much as $1 million with that $170,000 and built a pavilion and maybe redid the whole basketball park that you want redone. So it's not like I'm against Rich. I just don't feel he earns his paycheck at all.
I need to verify the money was not raised. Let everybody know, the money was not raised.
No, you got a grant. No, you got a grant. You went out and found a grant. Yes, sir.
It was not a grant. Believe me, I'm the man behind the money. Listen to me. It was not a grant. End of discussion. Thank you.
Well, thank you for giving it or whatever you did with it. Thank you very much, you know, and I hope it goes to very good use up there because I know you need picnic tables and everything else. I've been out there with Mr. Brown looking at that park and what we need to do to that park. Jeannie's been out there with me too. So I'm looking forward to making it better, like all the rest of them, because we haven't done nothing to any of them for 20 years.
You were commissioner last time and you did nothing.
That's all I got.
All right. Commissioner Money?
Yeah, I want to say thanks to James and everything that you folks have done up there to make this pavilion, because when Patrick and I came on board, that was one of our projects. We wanted to do something on the north side, and by gum, we've done it. And thank you all for everything that you've done up there. Want to thank Rich and Ashley for the incubator that they've done down there. You started something here in Buchanan. We're drawing people in. I think it's a great idea. I thought it was a great idea from the onset. I think you guys done a remarkable job, and I appreciate everything that you've done. Been down there a few times to frequent, you know. Everybody needs a taco at least a couple times a week. So, once again, I always say this. This commission, for the most part, works hard to do what we're trying to do for the city. Patrick took it upon himself to reach out, gather the information, got Tim Lynch to come back. We're gonna look at his contract, regardless of what others may say, and approve that. So, once again, everybody have a great holiday, and we'll see you in January.
I got one thing I'd like to add. It's a feather. I've gotten a couple different things, committees to ask to join. They've reached out to me in the last 30 days. And I got accepted to this one. I'm kind of proud of this one. The Michigan Infrastructure Council's Asset Management Champion. I'm going to spend 3 months, twice a week, 2 hours a day, taking their tests and reading their stuff about infrastructure. So I'm very happy that they accepted my application, and this is the acceptance of my application. That's all I wanted to add.
I just wanted to add that the pavilion at Victory Park was not funded with taxpayer money. It was not. That's factual. It was not funded with taxpayer money. Secondly, in response to what Monroe said, I know that when COVID hit and we put the window in out here so people could pay through the window, that was a good thing. I think, you know, they could at least still come in the building and pay their bills. And I have heard some rumblings about the employees-only signs on the doors. Hopefully you can understand that the way the folks that work in this building get treated, I guess what am I trying to say? Maybe the doors will open again one day when people start being respectful. I don't know when it became okay to be disrespectful and to holler and yell and act like a horse's rear end in public and to be rude to people who just come to do their jobs. But maybe when respect comes back, we can open the doors back up and people will be allowed to come in. And then lastly, I wanted to share a letter I got from Representative Brad Paquette. When I had talked a couple weeks ago about revenue sharing, Brad sent me a letter and it says, I'm gonna read it really quickly. He says, I've always shared your concern pertaining to the depletion of revenue sharing funds between the state and local units of government and have supported and will continue to support legislation which seeks to address the matter. Recently, we passed House Bills 4274 and 4275, which my colleagues and I believe will go a long way to address revenue shortfalls in local units of government. These bills create a revenue sharing trust fund within the Department of Treasury. They're now awaiting a vote in the Michigan Senate and will be tracking these dollars if passed and signed into law. The bill creates a revenue sharing trust fund that will not lapse back to the state general fund at the end of the year. Under the new formula, 8% of state sales tax revenue taxed at a 4% rate will be deposited into the trust fund, generating a projected $601 million for fiscal year 24-25. Cities, townships, and villages will receive 52.87% of the fund, while counties will receive 46%. Many across the state who represent local units of government came together and supported this legislation, including the Michigan Township Association, the Michigan Association of Counties, and the Michigan Municipal League. The legislation was passed in the House and is now being considered in the Senate, and we will keep you updated, and I hope we can have a continued correspondence with the bolstering of revenue sharing in mind. So I want to thank Brad for being on top of that. I think he does an outstanding job, and I think we should be lucky to have Brad. That's all I have for tonight. It's been a long week.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Concerning the security of the thing, with all the stuff that goes on with shootings around the nation or whatever, I don't think I would open that up to the public. You get somebody comes in, at least we've got a stopping point now. I mean, it might not be friendly, but the staff might like that also.
And the thing I will add, you know, and thank you, Jerry. Even though it says employees only, the city hall is open. You can call down here and make an appointment, and they'd be more than happy to meet with you, to sit with you, to talk to you, to answer your questions, to go through whatever you want to go through. I've said that before. I'll say it again. It's the absolute truth. There's no one in this building that doesn't want to sit and help you and work with you. Jill, do you have something you want to add?
Can we just answer the sign on the door?
Sure.
We have extreme heat and extreme cold in here sometimes. And sometimes we have to open the door to get fresh air in. And when we do that, we get an influx of people. And so when we prop it open just enough, I just kind of stuck a sign on there just saying, hey, you know, we can't just have everybody wandering around. So that's what that is.
Okay.
Not really meant to keep anyone out, only just for our safety.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Is there support?
This money I'll support.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Your adjourn.
Thank you.
Okay.
So when are we gonna see the contract? Do you have to have a special meeting? You didn't say nothing about.
It was in there.
Yeah,
Did you see the contract?
That's not the contract he's gonna sign, is it?
We don't know. He hasn't seen it. We got sorry. Can you repeat that? When he talked to him, he sent back.
yes, to approve that and allow the mayor to negotiate any non-compensation